In the forgotten hamlet of Grimvale, nestled deep in the mist-covered moors where the night held a palpable weight and the silence was suffocating, there loomed an ancient manor known as Shadowgate House, with its ivy-choked walls and windows like empty eyes. It exuded an aura of malevolence that sent shivers down the spines of those who dared to pass by. Whispers of the house's dark history circulated among the villagers. Tales of a reclusive family who practiced forbidden rituals and made pacts with entities from beyond the veil. Legend had it that on certain moonless nights, the specters of the family could be seen drifting through the halls, their anguished moans echoing through the stillness of the night. But it wasn't just the ghosts of the past that haunted Shadowgate House. There were whispers of something more sinister lurking within its depths, something ancient and hungry that fed on the fear of the living. And as the shadows lengthened and the air grew thick with dread, it seemed that whatever malevolent force resided within the manor was stirring once more, ready to claim new victims in its relentless pursuit of darkness. Deep in the heart of Grimvale, where the moon seldom dared to cast its light and the trees whispered secrets of forgotten horrors, there stood Shadowgate House, its presence a looming specter in the desolate landscape. The villagers, though they spoke in hushed tones of the mansion's grim past, could not resist the morbid fascination it held over their minds. One stormy night, when the wind howled like tormented souls and the rain beat relentlessly against the windows, a lone traveler sought refuge within the decaying walls of Shadowgate House. Ignoring the warnings of the villagers, he ventured into the darkness, drawn by a curiosity that bordered on madness. As he crossed the threshold, the air grew heavy with the weight of centuries-old secrets, and the shadows seemed to coil around him like serpents. But the traveler pressed on, his footsteps echoing in the empty halls, each one a heartbeat in the silent darkness. Then, just as he reached the heart of the mansion, he heard a soft whisper, barely audible above the storm. Turning, he saw a flicker of movement in the shadows, a shapeless form that seemed to shift and writhe like smoke. Heart pounding, the traveler fled, his mind reeling with terror and disbelief. Yet, even as he stumbled out into the night, he could not shake the feeling that the darkness of Shadowgate House had seeped into his very soul, leaving him forever haunted by its malevolent presence. And so, the mystery of Shadowgate House deepened, its secrets buried beneath layers of fear and intrigue, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to uncover the truth. As the storm raged on, the traveler's harrowing escape from Shadowgate House became the talk of Grimvale. Whispers spread like wildfire through the village, each retelling embellished with ghastly details and ominous warnings. Some claimed to have seen the traveler's ghostly apparition wandering the moors, forever trapped in the grip of Shadowgate House's malevolence. Others swore they heard his anguished screams carried on the wind, a chilling reminder of the horrors that lurked within the mansion's walls. Yet, despite the warnings and the tales of terror, there were those who could not resist the lure of Shadowgate House. Drawn by a morbid curiosity or a desperate need to uncover its secrets, they ventured into the darkness, their fates unknown to the rest of the world. Meanwhile, in the depths of the mansion, something stirred. A presence as ancient as the earth itself, its hunger insatiable, its thirst for souls unquenchable. It watched from the shadows, its malevolent gaze fixated on the village below, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And as the nights grew longer and the darkness deepened, the whispers of Shadowgate House grew louder, beckoning the brave and the foolish alike to uncover its mysteries. The storm had passed, leaving Grimvale shrouded in an eerie calm. Yet, beneath the surface, fear lingered like a festering wound, the memory of Shadowgate House's malevolence haunting the villagers like a specter in the night. As the days turned to weeks, the whispers grew louder, fueled by tales of strange happenings and unexplained disappearances. Families locked their doors tight, fearing the darkness that lurked beyond their windows, while the bravest souls ventured out only in daylight, their eyes darting nervously at every shadow. But amidst the fear and uncertainty, there arose a glimmer of hope, a stranger who had come to Grimvale with a purpose known only to them. With an air of determination that bordered on madness, they set out to uncover the truth behind Shadowgate House's dark past. Heedless of the dangers that lay ahead, their journey led them deep into the heart of the village, where the whispers grew louder and the shadows seemed to dance with a life of their own. With each step, they felt the weight of centuries-old secrets pressing down upon them, threatening to consume them whole. And yet, they pressed on, driven by a desire to unravel the mysteries that shrouded Shadowgate House in darkness. for they knew that only by confronting the horrors of the past could they hope to banish the evil that lurked within. As the stranger delved deeper into the secrets of Grimvale, they uncovered a tangled web of lies and deceit that stretched back centuries. Whispers of dark rituals and forbidden pacts with otherworldly entities permeated the villages. History, casting a pall of dread over its unsuspecting inhabitants. But it was the legend of the Shadowgate key that intrigued the stranger the most. A fabled artifact said to hold the power to unlock the true depths of Shadowgate House's darkness. According to the tales passed down through generations, the key was lost long ago, hidden away by those who feared its unholy power. Determined to uncover the truth, the stranger embarked on a perilous quest to find the key, braving treacherous forests and haunted ruins in search of clues. Yet, with each step closer to the truth, they could feel the malevolent presence of Shadowgate House growing stronger, its dark influence seeping into their very soul. But the stranger was undeterred, driven by a relentless determination to confront the evil that had plagued Grimvale for centuries. For they knew that only by unlocking the secrets of Shadowgate House could they hope to put an end to the horrors that lurked within its walls. And so, with the weight of the village's fate resting on their shoulders, they pressed on into the heart of darkness, ready to face whatever unspeakable horrors awaited them. As the stranger delved deeper into the mysteries surrounding Shadowgate House, they unearthed chilling truths that sent shivers down their spine. It became clear that the mansion was not just a place of darkness, but a gateway to something far more sinister, a realm where the barriers between the living and the dead were thin, and where unspeakable horrors lurked in the shadows. Driven by a relentless determination to uncover the truth, the stranger pressed on, their every step haunted by whispers of the past and the cold touch of unseen hands. They delved into forbidden tomes and consulted with the village's elders, piecing together fragments of a dark and twisted history that had long been buried beneath layers of fear and superstition. But as they drew closer to the heart of the mystery, they began to realize that they were not alone. Shadows seemed to move of their own accord, and strange apparitions appeared in the corners of their vision, disappearing as quickly as they had come. It was as if the very walls of Shadowgate House were alive, watching their every move with a malevolent intent. And then, just as they thought they had uncovered the final piece of the puzzle, disaster struck. A sinister force, more powerful than anything they had encountered before, rose up to thwart their efforts, threatening to consume them in its all-encompassing darkness. But the stranger refused to be cowed, their resolve stronger than ever as they prepared to face the ultimate evil that lurked within Shadowgate House. For they knew that the fate of Grimvale and perhaps the world itself hung in the balance, and that only by confronting the darkness head-on could they hope to emerge victorious. As the stranger prepared to confront the ultimate evil within Shadowgate House, the very air around them seemed to thicken with anticipation, as if the mansion itself held its breath in anticipation of the impending showdown. Every creak of the floorboards, every whisper of the wind through the cracked windows, seemed to carry a sinister message, warning of the horrors that lay ahead. With each step deeper into the bowels of the mansion, the stranger's senses were assailed by a cacophony of eerie sounds and unsettling sights. Ghostly apparitions flitted through the shadows, their hollow eyes boring into the stranger's soul with an intensity that sent chills down their spine. The air grew colder, heavier, suffused with a palpable sense of malevolence that seemed to seep from the very walls themselves. And then, at last, they reached the heart of the darkness, a chamber shrouded in shadows, its walls adorned with grotesque symbols and arcane sigils. In the center of the room stood a towering figure, cloaked in darkness and wreathed in an aura of pure malevolence. It spoke in a voice that echoed through the depths of the stranger's mind, promising untold power in exchange for their soul. But the stranger refused to be swayed by the creature's sinister charms, their resolve unwavering in the face of unimaginable evil. With a defiant cry, they brandished their weapon, a gleaming blade forged in the fires of righteousness, and prepared to face the darkness head-on. And so, with the fate of Grimvale hanging in the balance, the stranger and the dark entity clashed in a battle that would echo through the ages. Their struggle a testament to the eternal conflict between light and shadow, good and evil. But as the dust settled and the echoes of their battle faded into silence, one question remained unanswered. Had the stranger truly vanquished the darkness, or had they merely unleashed something far more terrifying upon the world? The clash between the stranger and the dark entity unleashed a torrent of chaos that reverberated through the very fabric of Grimvale. Thunder roared overhead, shaking the foundations of Shadowgate House as if the heavens themselves were protesting the violence unfolding within its walls. Lightning danced across the sky, casting jagged shadows that seemed to writhe and twist with a life of their own. In the aftermath of the battle, the stranger emerged battered but victorious, their weapons stained with the blood of their vanquished foe. Yet, as they stood amidst the wreckage of the chamber, a sense of unease washed over them like a tidal wave, for they knew that the darkness that had plagued Grimvale for so long could not be so easily defeated. As they prepared to leave Shadowgate House behind, they felt a strange pull, a whisper in the back of their mind urging them to delve deeper, to uncover the secrets that lay hidden in the mansion's darkest depths. Ignoring the warning signs that screamed of danger, they resolved to heed the call, driven by a relentless curiosity that bordered on obsession. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the shadows grew long once more, the stranger returned to Shadowgate House, their heart pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement, for they knew that whatever awaited them within its walls would test their courage and resolve like never before. Little did they know that their actions had awakened something ancient and malevolent, something that had slumbered beneath Shadowgate House for eons, biding its time until the moment was right to unleash its wrath upon the world once more. But what fate awaited the stranger in the darkness, and what horrors lurked within the depths of Shadowgate House, only time would tell, as the mysteries of Grimvale continued to unfold, shrouded in a veil of fear and uncertainty that refused to be lifted. As the stranger delved deeper into the bowels of Shadowgate House, they were consumed by a darkness so thick it seemed to suffocate their very soul. Each step forward felt like a descent into madness, as the whispers of the damned echoed through the halls, taunting and tormenting them with promises of eternal suffering. But still, they pressed on, driven by a determination that bordered on insanity. They could sense that they were drawing closer to the source of the darkness, to the heart of the ancient evil that had plagued Grimvale for centuries. And then, at last, they reached the chamber, a cavernous expanse of blackness so profound it seemed to swallow the very light itself. And there, at its center, they beheld the true horror of Shadowgate House, a monstrous abomination born from nightmares and fueled by the darkest desires of humanity. With a roar that shook the foundations of the earth, the creature lunged forward, its twisted form contorting and writhing as it unleashed its fury upon the hapless stranger. Desperate, they fought back with all their strength, their weapon flashing in the darkness as they sought to banish the creature back to the depths from whence it came. But it was all in vain. In the end, the darkness claimed them, swallowing them whole as Shadowgate House collapsed in on itself, its malevolent presence extinguished but its legacy destined to endure for eternity. And so, Grimvale remained forever haunted by the horrors of its past, a warning to all who dared to tread its cursed streets. For in the end, there are some evils that can never be defeated, only endured. In the end, the darkness of Shadowgate House proved too powerful for the stranger to overcome. As they battled against the monstrous abomination that lurked within its depths, they found themselves outmatched and outnumbered. With a final, desperate cry, they were consumed by the darkness, their screams echoing through the empty halls as they were dragged into the abyss. And so, Grimvale remained forever cursed, its streets forever haunted by the restless spirits of those who had dared to venture into the depths of Shadowgate House. The villagers lived in fear, their nights plagued by nightmares of the horrors that lurked just beyond their doorstep. As for Shadowgate House itself, it stood as a twisted monument to the darkness that had claimed it, its crumbling walls a testament to the futility of resistance against the forces of evil. And though the villagers whispered tales of the brave stranger who had dared to challenge the darkness, their memory soon faded into obscurity, lost to the annals of time. And so, Grimvale remained trapped in a never-ending nightmare, its fate sealed by the darkness that lurked within the cursed halls of Shadowgate House.